sitting in the dark when you're not feeling your best. Fuck the dark. Let me pause that for a minute. F the dark. Let me pause the music too. When you are feeling a type of way, and that emotion is not the best, when you're feeling dark energy around you, whether it's just depression, whether you don't want to get up, you don't feel like doing any work, whatever it is, when you're feeling that energy, sit in that energy. If you are a smoker, whether it's cigarettes, MJ, whether you drink, don't do any of that. Allow yourself to feel those emotions, especially if you express it and talk about it or writing it out to yourself. I think that is one of the best and healing ways to really do shadow work, especially when it comes to when you're sad about something. Feeling that energy, expressing it, not allowing it to be bottled up inside and releasing, because a lot of times shadow work can be prevented if we allow what essentially is the shadow to come to the light, right? And stop keeping it suppressed in the shadow. What we say, everything that's done in the dark got to come to the light. So you might as well go ahead and address it and look at it. You are that light that's there. So when you decide to open that door and look inside and look at the darkness, that's what you're here to do, and you're really doing the work and growing. I feel like sitting in the dark though by yourself, and I know that can be a bit frightening, or it can be a bit, it feels like the universe is intimidating, right? Because it's like, okay, you're actively going in with the intention of doing shadow work. However, you don't want to just go sit in the closet with the door closed and just be sitting there like, okay, so what are we doing? You should be in a state of, I'm feeling this. So you know what? I'm tired of going through this. You know, why does this keep happening to me? You should be feeling that energy, going in there, sitting there and feeling that. And you just allow the emotions to come up. You just allow them to come up, and you may feel like you want to cry first. First, you may feel angry. You may just be like, I don't want to, whatever it is. And then you may just sit there and you may just start crying. Or maybe you cry first and then you're angry. And then maybe you start laughing. Like, you have to allow yourself to go through the emotions, like feel those emotions and allow them to pass. And the last feeling that you will feel is that inner standing of, you know what? This was a part of the journey. I needed this. I may not see and understand this now. However, I had to go through this. This is a part of my character. I wouldn't even be where I am at this moment. I'm focusing on the positive, the things that have happened. When you do that, the shadow work gets easier and easier and easier. Okay. The shadow work gets easier and easier. And it allows you to really feel the depths of the darkness and how you can really put yourself deep down in the dark hole and really be alone by yourself. You need to be doing shadow work alone. You don't need to be out with friends or y'all out trying to do rich. You need to be your ass by yourself so you ain't feeling their energy and other people, the neighbors' energy. Be by yourself. That's the best way to do shit. Be by yourself. Going and sitting by water too, in my opinion, is another best way to do shadow work. Mirror. Being in the mirror. Some people feel like you should do that. That's portals, blah, blah. Okay, so what? We want to go through one portal, but not, man, fuck y'all and whatever the fuck. Look your ass straight like that. Look in the mirror when you're going through those emotions and those energies, and sit and just, you know, look at that. Look at you through the mirror. Is it, I just asked somebody, I just said, is it you looking at you, or is it the you looking at you? Who are you looking at? Who is that? Why do you see them when you step in front of a mirror? Why does it look like they're inside of the mirror? Are they from the other side and this is just you and the parallel universe and you guys are coming together? Perspective. So shadow work, that in my opinion is the best way to do shadow work. In all honesty, you don't need all this fancy stuff. You don't gotta have these type of crystals. You need to just really be with self and be honest and be vulnerable and be authentic with yourself and take responsibility for yourself. If you know you're a bad person, if you know you're somebody that's out here harming people, whether it's emotionally, verbally, physically, whatever it is, you need to address that. You think it's the best way to do shadow work. In all honesty. You don't need all this fancy stuff. You don't gotta have these type of crystals. You need to just really be with self and be honest and be vulnerable and be authentic with yourself and take responsibility for yourself. If you know you're a bad person, if you know you're somebody that's out here harming people, whether it's emotionally, verbally, physically, whatever it is, you need to address that. You need to sit with that and actually acknowledge and address that shit. And ask yourself, why am I, like, what is it? Because a lot of times you're like that because of something that happened to you in childhood. This is where everybody's trauma and wounds are at anyway. And from there, now it's like you're acting out. You ever seen kids throw temper tantrums, right? Or you ever seen a big person have a hissy fit or do that? Your inner child is talking to you too. Another great way to do shadow work, talking to your inner child, looking back at old pictures of yourself. It just depends on what type of shadow work you're doing. If it's about relationships and love, right? Or if it's about friendship that you're having, or maybe it's about the way you spend money, or maybe it's about, trauma that you have. It just depends, you know what I'm saying? However, those are the things that I would recommend.